strategies for selecting and using your online tools. And we'll just go ahead and get started here.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm excited to partner with GiveEffect to present this webinar today and share some more resources about selecting a CRM. My name is Megan Herbert. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an associate at Tides. And so in my role, I hold a small portfolio of FSP partners who I serve as the advisor for. And I also kind of project manage all things online platforms for fiscally sponsored projects. So I'm lucky to partner with the GiveEffect team and with all of our other online fundraising platforms and CRMs to kind of manage this partnership and make sure that we're presenting the best technology tools that we possibly can for Tide's fiscally sponsored projects. So I just wanted to give kind of a brief overview of the partnership between Tides and GiveEffect before we dive into the material. So on both sides, we're really committed to having this be a long-term lasting relationship. So that we did at the beginning of 2023, we did a pretty rigorous 6-month research and selection process to choose all of the CRMs that we ended up announcing last fall to all of our partners. And that research and selection process was not only to make sure that they kind of met Tides' minimum requirements as a fiscal sponsor, which included making sure that it was compatible with our AR team so that when funds come in from GiveEffect, we can allocate them to your project appropriately. And that, the agreement between Tides and GiveEffect had all of our terms around data security and other important factors that our legal team and our IT team wanted to see. But we also wanted to make sure that we were choosing kind of a best-in-class CRM in terms of what's out there for features, functionality. Customer service was a hugely important aspect to us to make sure that once projects are using a CRM, that they can really get the most out of it, get the most out of its tools, and that had competitive pricing. So we did a whole research of what's out there in the field, and GiveEffect really rose to the top as being a really strong user experience and a strong partner both to Tides as the fiscal sponsor and to any of our fiscally sponsored projects who want to start using the platform. So we're excited about this partnership where we think that this tool could really be a huge benefit to organizations under the Tide Center umbrella. So we're really excited to share more about that partnership and about what a CRM can do for your organization today. I'll pass it over to the GiveEffect team from here.
Great. Thanks so much, Megan. So my name is Tara Peitzer. I am the Director of Marketing Communications at GiveEffect. I have over 10 years of marketing and communications experience. I've also held several nonprofit leadership roles, including at Immerman Angels and Tickled Pink, which are both cancer-related nonprofits. I've also just been volunteering my entire life with nonprofits and especially for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. Alexia?
Yeah, thanks, Tara. My name is Alexia Olkeen. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator at GiveEffect. I have a background in nonprofit work for the University of Pennsylvania's Food and Wellness Collaborative. And like Tara, I've been volunteering my whole life, especially with the food justice sector. So now let's dive into our agenda and what we're going to get into today. Obviously, we've introduced ourselves already. So after this, we'll do a quick intro into GiveEffect for those of you that haven't heard about it before. After that, we'll go into CRMs and online tools for nonprofits. Then we'll talk a bit about common challenges when selecting a CRM, how to evaluate and select a CRM. Then we'll talk a bit about why GiveEffect for your CRM needs. And finally, we'll have some time at the end for a Q&A. So now I'm going to flip it back over to Tara to talk a bit about GiveEffect.
Great, thanks, Alexia. So what is GiveEffect, right? GiveEffect is a 10-in-1 software solution built specifically for nonprofits. And for today, we're kind of going to use CRM and nonprofit software or nonprofit tech solution a little bit interchangeable because GiveEffect is not just one thing. We are all encompassing. It's one connected system. And something unique about GiveEffect is that we were built for nonprofits and we only serve nonprofits. And so you get all of these tools in one connected system. I'm not going to go through every one of our tools in depth today. However, if you're interested in learning more at the end of the webinar, we will share a QR code with the opportunity to sign up for a product demo. And on a product demo, one of my colleagues will give you a detailed tour of the software where you'll be able to see all these tools and features firsthand and ask very in-depth questions to find out if GiveEffect meets your needs. But today we're just going to go over a little bit more high level, and again, about how do you even know if you need a CRM, what kind of CRM, what questions to ask. So we'll give you a little bit more of that knowledge to go into those conversations. And so again, just to go over some of the tools and features that make up GiveEffect at a high level, we'll start with online giving. So this provides you with the ability to accept and process online, offline, in-kind donations, and so much more. Our relationship database, which is your CRM, or as we like to call it, either the brain or the heart of the software, because what it does is it centralizes your constituent data. And having centralized data makes it easier to manage, access, and utilize information effectively across your entire organization. Events and fundraising is another one of these tools that we have within GiveEffect, and GiveEffect provides you with the ability to create and manage a variety of campaign types and events, from simple donation campaigns to galas to peer-to-peer fundraising campaigns and even auctions. And GiveEffect can help GiveEffect can help any of your ideas really come to life. We also have volunteer management, which easily helps you manage and track your volunteer shifts and track completed hours in real time. And because all of this is part of one connected system, you can identify which of your volunteers are also your donors and vice versa, as well as communicate with those constituents directly. You can also set up automated communications such as shift reminders and thank you notes. Additionally, we have an app called Event Buddy, which is not mentioned on the screen, but it's one of the ways that we make volunteer check-in and checkout extremely easy, including self-check-in and self-checkout. Next, we have nonprofit management, which helps you and your team stay on top of everything. It helps you with task management, resource management, budgets, and more. And then we have membership management. You can manage groups such as giving societies in an organized and automated way. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, touching on email marketing, is we have an email and marketing module, which includes tools for email marketing, direct marketing, SMS texting, and more. And again, because GiveEffect is a connected system, you can easily leverage data from the relationship database to personalize your marketing and communications in real time and without ever leaving the platform. Next, we have grant management and moves management, which helps you keep track of which grants your team is applying for, each step of the process, and the status of those grants. And with moves management, your development team can manage their portfolio of major donors in a very straightforward and organized way. Smart automation is the last one I'm going to go over today. And that is actually GiveEffect's proprietary technology that automates processes and connects data, actions, and tasks throughout the entire software suite. Again, like I've mentioned a few times already, but I really want to emphasize it is one connected system. And automating nonprofit tasks is a perfect way to become more efficient. GiveEffect's smart automation takes care of labor-intensive manual work, so you don't have to. All right, so this page may or may not be relatable, but with all the nonprofits that come to us looking for technology or figuring out their search, no matter where they are in their search, these are just 6 of the common struggles that we see every day. So the first one is staff bandwidth and lack of expertise. Nonprofit staff always have so much to do and not enough time to do it. Many also feel like they don't have the expertise to even take on nonprofit tech. Number two is adopting too many platforms that don't talk to each other. As you bring members of your team on, or as different members of your team decide to take on new initiatives, you may start to build this tech stack thinking that, oh, I need email marketing, let's get this technology. Oh, I need a fundraising platform, let's get this one. But if you piecemeal it, you may find out that your technologies actually don't talk to each other, and it becomes way more challenging than helpful. The third is constantly downloading reports from one tool only to upload it to another, which not only wastes time, but it also increases the chance of data errors, which then leads to not trusting your data. Fourth is gaps in data due to role transitions. Unfortunately, staff turnover is really common among nonprofits. And when someone transitions out of the organization, they leave gaps in the data and information if it's not saved in a way that the entire organization has access to, and in the same format as everyone else is working in, right? So we've seen just a range of what this looks like, including missing information about which tool marketing person is even using for email marketing, access to that username and email to even access the platform. So then all those email marketing campaigns and history is completely gone, until you hopefully are able to track that person down and find out that information. But why put yourself or your organization in that situation? Number five is missing or unorganized data. And if your team is saving data across different tools or even across different spreadsheets, each person saving data in their own way, there's a good chance that your data is not going to be easily utilized, it's going to go missing, and not everyone will be able to leverage it when they need it. And lastly is manual data entry and repetitive tasks. Manual data entry and repetitive tasks are such a challenge because, again, your team has such limited time. So why are you spending it doing these tasks that can be automated? So if you can relate to many of these challenges, know that you're not alone, and we'll address many of them today.
Yeah, thank you, Tara. So, with those challenges in mind, we really wanted to break down what a CRM is, how is it helpful in solving for those challenges that Tara just mentioned. So, we wanted to break that down into that for-profit definition and a nonprofit definition, because a nonprofit CRM is going to be very different. For-profit customer data. So, a customer relationship management system, CRM, helps companies with customer data, meaning their contact information, their accounts, and their leads, very much from a sales perspective. And nonprofit CRM, that's a constituent relationship management system, helps nonprofits manage their donations, their volunteers, their events, communications, and so much more. A nonprofit CRM is typically customized for your nonprofit use. You shouldn't have to hire a consultant or some sort of data expert to customize it for you. GiveEffect, for example, was built specifically for nonprofits in mind and their needs in mind. And we only serve nonprofits. So you can really start using GiveEffect from day one of when you're onboarded. Now we'll talk a bit about nonprofit software solutions. So your nonprofit tech solution or nonprofit tech stack may include one or many of the following. Online fundraising, including peer-to-peer fundraising, volunteer management systems, grant management, membership management, event management, communication tools, websites and web hosting, wall screening, everything that we've kind of gone over in the previous slides. So it's important to kind of note that although nonprofit software solutions generally include all of these database tools, they might not come all within the same system. You might have to purchase additional tools or features such as event management or a communication tool. And if you're not using that all-in-one platform, you'll really need to build out this whole entire tech stack. So you want to think about what integrations you may need, additional fees for them, and if they're even compatible with your nonprofit tech software. So again, like we've noted, all-in-one platforms, which we'll talk about, such as GiveEffect, offer these tools within a single platform, and that is really something to look for. Now we'll talk a bit about the benefits of nonprofit software. So one being time savings. We understand that administrative tasks can be very labor intensive, and that's going to be a huge benefit for nonprofit software. The second that we wanted to highlight is enhanced fundraising. That can be online campaigns, in-person events, or hybrid, a combination of both. And three, most importantly, we want to talk about the data you can trust. So with nonprofit software, it really eliminates the need for different manual uploading, like we talked about, different usernames and passwords, and the need to upload data from one platform to another. So it eliminates any data misinformation and also eliminates team silos when you have the majority of your team working from the same platform and the same data. Now I'll pass it over to Tara to talk about some of the common concerns.
Great, thank you. Yes, so we understand that there are some very valid concerns when thinking about adopting a CRM or a nonprofit software. So let's acknowledge these three common concerns that we have heard from many nonprofits within the community. So first up we have is data migration will be a huge hassle. Then we'll go into gaining board approval. And third, nonprofit software is too expensive. So let's move on to the next slide. Great. So number one, data migration. You might think that's going to be a huge hassle, right? And although we're not going to tell you data transfer, data migration will be easy, depending on the state of your current data, it doesn't need to be difficult. And you shouldn't need to go about it completely on your own. Ideally, your chosen software partner will provide clear instructions for sharing your data and support you every step of the way in that transfer of data. Most software providers charge for this process. However, as part of our partnership with Tides, GiveEffect is actually waiving your setup fee and providing a discount on data migration just for the Tides projects. So something very important to know. Great. And let's see, let's go to the next slide. Great. So gaining board approval. Although convincing your board may take some time and effort, it's not impossible. With the right research, you can really show why a CRM or a nonprofit tech tool will benefit your organization. So it's important to share with your board the potential return on investment. For example, with GiveEffect, our clients actually saved 30 to 40 hours per month on administrative tasks. So if you think about that, that's essentially a full-time or part-time staff member that no longer needs to do administrative tasks and can focus their time and their hours on your actual mission. And with using GiveEffect, you're actually 2 times more likely to exceed your fundraising goals. Great, and now let's move on to the third. The cost, right? For many nonprofits, especially organizations that are just starting out or on the smaller size, the biggest challenge in their search might be cost or actually just understanding cost. Because the reality is there are free or freemium options in existence. However, everything has its cost. So instead of an upfront cost, the cost might be opportunity costs. The cost of a consultant to customize even some of the free platforms that are out there, the cost of a monthly subscription or payment processing fees. So pay close attention on what a software's cost fee structure is, as well as especially those free or freemium options. They're never really free. So definitely keep that in mind. The right solution should, however, yield a positive return on investment. So not only will you improve your fundraising efforts, but you will also save staff time, spend on tasks that software can automate for you.
Awesome. So now we'll talk a bit about questions that you should think about internally with your team before you begin selecting a CRM. And these questions are really meant to help your team discover what you're looking for in nonprofit software and how it's going to help you achieve your goals. So, obviously, you want to talk about what your goals are. How do you currently manage your data? Do you trust your data? Why or why not? How does your team work together? Are there any silos? What is your team doing manually that could potentially be automated? Which tech platforms are you currently using? And do your current platforms speak to each other? So we really recommend meeting with the leaders of your team and discussing your current processes and how you'd like to improve upon them. Because at the end of the day, you want to understand who will be using the platform on your team, what their role is, and what's important to them for your overall mission and goals. And now we've also compiled a list of what to ask nonprofit tech providers once you get to that stage. So this isn't a comprehensive list. We want to make sure that you come prepared to those conversations with nonprofit tech providers with those questions that are unique to your org based off those internal discussions that you've had. So some of the questions that we offer here are what functions and tools are included? What information can we track? How are the donations going to be processed? Does your product require any integrations? What is the cost? What automations do you provide? What does your onboarding and training process look like? And what type of ongoing support do you offer? So definitely keep these in mind or feel free to write any of these down. We also will provide the recording after this, but these are important to keep in mind when meeting with a software provider. Great. So now we're going to get into the bread and butter here, talking about what are the essential nonprofit software criteria. What should you look for when evaluating a nonprofit tech solution? One super important feature is that it's user friendly. You shouldn't need to be an IT person or a tech wizard to be able to use your software. Any of your team members should be able to pick it up and use it after some onboarding and support. Two, it's all in one, meaning you don't need multiple logins, data uploads from one platform to another. Really, it meets all of your functionality needs and eliminates the integration hassles and provides everything that you may require. Third, onboarding and support, which isn't talked about too often, but we really want to highlight in this presentation. Sometimes you can be so focused on the functionality that you forget about that onboarding and support. And this is super important for your overall use because in the long term, down the line, you may need certain features and you may need to know how to navigate that. And reaching back out to your support team is going to be key. Four is adaptable, and by that we mean it is adapting and evolving with technology. As we know, every new week there's always some sort of new tech feature software system out there, and you want to make sure that your tech is keeping up to date with the features that are offered. Great, so we're going to take a deep dive into each of these four that we've offered here, and one, it's user friendly. As we spoke about, we don't need to require a IT expert to use it. And by user friendly, we also mean it's friendly for your staff, but also your supporters that are using it on their end. For example, with donations, they're easy to make for a donor or supporter, and they're also easy to track on the back end for your staff. With volunteering, it's easy for someone to sign up for a volunteer shift. And then it's easy for a staff member to manage that shift on the back end as well. Communication, it is key between your org and your constituents. So you need to have a platform that helps you easily communicate on multiple channels and helps you personalize those communications with groupings or segmentation if possible. And finally, reporting and analytics. We know that this can be a huge hassle, especially if you're having different data platforms. So, something that makes this report generation easy through maybe canned reports or ready made templates. The second feature that we've mentioned a few times now is that it's all in one. Um, Again, managing various tech platforms means juggling different logins and uploads and sharing information across systems, excuse me, really undermines data reliability, which is something that is incredibly important for your organization. So the ideal nonprofit CRM is going to include all of the tools that you may need. Great. And we'll talk a bit about onboarding and ongoing support throughout the rest of this presentation. But we really want to emphasize here that when you're focused on those CRM features and tools, it can be easy to forget about the ongoing need for support. So, not all support is equal across CRM options. For example, if you're using a CRM that doesn't specialize in nonprofits, the person on the other support line that you may be contacting when you're in need may not have all of the information necessary for you. So, most of the time, you might also not have a dedicated account manager to help build that relationship with and someone who truly understands your goals. So, we've included here some options and just some general items that could be helpful and important for you and your team, such as chat support, phone support, webinars, a help center with a video library, office hours, and definitely email support. And finally, we want to talk about that adaptability piece, right? So you want software that is keeping up with technology and still remains user-friendly at the same time. So as the nonprofit tech landscape continues to evolve, look for a platform that does the same. It Meaning it can accept a variety of donation types, as we've seen in kind, the rise of crypto and non-cash assets, DAFs. It accepts alternative payment methods, right? Apple Pay, Google Pay. I know I'm first to pull out my phone with Apple Pay whenever I go to a store. So this, in the same way, making that convenient for your supporters. And finally, AI. It can be super helpful when generating content for appeals and your general communications. And implementing user feedback, right? So this makes sure that your CRM is going to take your feedback in mind and implement it and really listening to you. Awesome. Now I'm going
Great.
to pass it over to
So we've talked quite a bit, touching on give effect, also touching in general on what to look for in a CRM or what to ask or questions you should ask yourself and your team members before heading into evaluating a nonprofit technology or CRM. So why give effect? Well, let me tell you. All right. So like we mentioned at the top of the webinar, Give Effect is a 10-in-1 nonprofit software, which includes a fundraising or a CRM, excuse me, fundraising, volunteering, and almost everything you need in one platform to connect your development, community engagement, marketing teams, and more. Really, our focus is that Give Effect does the busy work so you can focus on what matters most, which is your mission. And because Give Effect is an all-in-one platform, many of the standalone technologies that you may be using or have heard of, where you would need to build out your own tech stack, Give Effect actually replaces. So here's just a few examples of some of the ones you may have heard of. So donation tools, including things like Donor Perfect or Bloomerang, communication tools like Constant Contact or MailChimp, website tools like WordPress, data management, even as simple as Microsoft Excel or Google Spreadsheets, and volunteer management such as Volunteer Hub and Velogix. So keep in mind you can cancel all of those technologies and move everything into one place, Give Effect. All right, and I'm not going to go through these again, but just a reminder, here are the 10 modules that are kind of the overarching umbrella for what's included in Give Effect. All right, we can move on to the next. Great. So now we want to give you just a quick peek at Give Effect. We're just doing some screenshots here, but again, reminder, you can sign up for a demo and actually see the platform live and get questions asked in real time when you schedule your demo. So here's just an example of a constituent profile. Our constituent profile actually gives you a 360-degree view of your supporters, including giving history, volunteering activity, hours completed, campaign engagement, and more. You can also use these constituent profiles for the individuals that your mission serves. You can see in this screenshot of Wendell's profile, he's just our example today. We have his contact information and personal details. We also have, it's a little hard to see because it's just a screenshot again, but we also have groups that he's a part of. So let's say he previously attended an event or he has shared interest in a specific category. You can very easily and actually automate putting specific people in groups that will then help you segment for things like email communication or direct mail communication going forward. Let's see. You can also see at the bottom there his donation history. So you get a very quick snapshot of the total amount that he's donated over his lifetime, and then you can break it down by different types of donations. So for example, if he donated through a DAF, you can actually see how it's hard credited and soft credited. If he were to do any corporate matching, you would also be able to see all of this within his donation history. Great, and then let's move on. So this is the lower portion of the constituent profile. So it just shows a little bit more here. Again, it's hard to see in the screenshot, but his volunteer application information is there. You can collect information such as even like t-shirt size or food allergies and have that all in one place that you can access digitally. So no more paper. You know, you're at an event, you're at a volunteering event, and you need to know everyone's t-shirt sizes, and you had asked that as part of the volunteer application. You can very easily pick it up or pull it up, through your tablet, your desktop computer, or I guess you wouldn't have a desktop computer, but your laptop computer, and or a mobile device, and see what his t-shirt size is to make sure to give him the correct one. Let's see. And again, just having both your volunteer and donor information in one place is really especially helpful in identifying which of your volunteers donate and which of your donors volunteer, so that you can see where's their opportunity to engage further. All right, next slide.
Yeah. And I think adding on to that here as we talk about modules a bit, seeing your donors and volunteers all in one place is going to be incredibly helpful. So we want to talk a bit about the modules here at the top. You can see, again, it's a bit small because of the screenshot, but you can see the tasks and contacts, donations, volunteers, wealth management tab, members, campaigns, and so on. So these are all of the tabs and modules available to you as well as you kind of work through Give Effect. And it's very easy to navigate between these tabs and different modules. And one thing that we want to point out here is like the dashboard that you can see once you click on one of the modules at the top. For example, your volunteers, you can see your list of volunteers as well as how many of those volunteers are donors. So here, 426 volunteers and 180 of those are donors. How many donations have been made and what that totals out to, as well as the completed hours of volunteers. So all of this is available to you in, again, one system in Give Effect. And we also wanted to highlight a bit of our events and auctions features. So you can create and manage an online campaign for simple campaigns that are maybe for a single donation or single campaign type, events, auctions, and peer-to-peer. We also give you the framework and a template to create a campaign for any type of event and fundraiser that you may dream up. And those templates are ready in minutes. So you can build your campaign, you can add your branding, as you can see here with the Hearts and Hammers Gala. You can add your event details, as well as multimedia and images to tell your story. You can add a sponsorship opportunity. You can add an auction to that event and have those call to actions readily available to you, as well as you can see here providing information about what your tickets offer and so on. So you don't need a separate auction platform here with GiveEffect. Everything is within the same campaign page. And it's important to note that when someone donates as well with GiveEffect, they are automatically added to your database. And now you can leverage this information to reach out to them separately, create that personalized communication. It just makes everything really simple when it's all within the same system. And peer-to-peer and team fundraising, which we love to talk about because it's such a great feature and way to fundraise. I love this specific example with our client, Special Olympics Rhode Island, with their annual penguin plunge, which I think is absolutely insane. But here in this campaign page, you can see that it's customizable. And their main campaign here with the penguin plunge, you can also create team fundraising campaigns that obviously navigate back to that main campaign page. So the benefits of this are that you can extend your fundraising footprint, that we like to call it here, where your supporters fundraise on your behalf and share with their communities. And these pages are easily shareable via social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. And with GiveEffect, again, your supporters can create their own pages that are centralized to that main campaign page, but you still have control over your branding and the way that it looks. So again, when anyone makes a donation to these team campaigns or team fundraisers, those donations and donors are automatically added to your database. So you can continue to nurture these supporters all within the same platform. And analytics and reporting. So this is obviously huge here for, I think, everyone when looking and thinking about a CRM. It's incredibly important to make those decisions and to be able to show your board your progress for your organization. So here's an example of what a dashboard in GiveEffect looks like that you can customize based off of the information that your organization may view as important. So here, for example, you can see this is a donation dashboard where you can see today how many donations were made, in the last week how many donations were made, this past week, and this month. And obviously, you have a nice little graph here to demonstrate that. And even you can compare 2023 last year with this year and where you're at compared to that last year. So that's really a great tool here, and you can customize this based off of a different stat. So maybe you'd like to see volunteer progress instead. That is completely possible. And that's the benefit of an all-in-one system, right? That you can pull those different reports if you'd like to. And like we mentioned, we do have can report options, so those ready-made reports, but it's also easy to customize your own reports as well if you'd like to. Great. And finally, we'll talk about our onboarding, which we really pride ourselves here in GiveEffect. We have an extensive onboarding, which is broken down into a few things here. So once you join us and onboard with us, you have a welcome call where you'll meet your dedicated account manager, and then you'll have 5 different sessions dedicated to a different aspect of the platform. And then you'll also have 30-day meeting check-in, a 60-day check-in, a 90-day check-in, and 2 biannuals. So this entire onboarding process is made for you to develop that relationship with your account manager, to make sure that you're aligned on your org's unique goals and uses with GiveEffect. So as Tara mentioned earlier, GiveEffect actually is waiving your setup fee and providing a discount on that data migration, special for Tides projects. And ongoing support after that onboarding session. So I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but our average onboarding rating score for client success in 2024 was actually an 8.89 out of 10. So we really do pride ourselves in that feature and take it incredibly seriously, make sure we're incorporating feedback from our clients. And we want you to know that switching over to a platform, although it can be stressful, we've created so many different pathways to make that support easy for you along the way, with chat support opportunities, email support, office hours with your dedicated account manager, a help center with a video library, webinars where we talk about new features and how to use them, and the opportunity for phone support via Zoom.
Great, thanks so much. So we're getting towards the end here. So we want to take a moment to talk about the takeaways and next steps from this webinar. I know we've shared a lot of information, but again, we will share the recording, so not to worry if you missed anything or want to reference something again. So we hope that from this webinar, you will understand that nonprofit software saves your team time, builds stronger constituent relationships, and increases your impact, right? Because you're then able to spend more time focused on your mission and not the administrative or manual tasks. We hope that you'll discuss your team's needs and priorities amongst each other, and then also ask the right questions when evaluating tools, right? Not every tool is the right fit for every team. And so we hope that the questions and the discussion points we've provided during today's webinar will help you figure out the right tool for you. And of course, we hope that you'll consider GiveEffect as your team's all-in-one nonprofit software to increase your team's collaboration, help you save time, raise more, and increase your impact to reach your goals. So again, we are here and available to talk more one-on-one with you, but we're also happy to take some questions now if there's any that you all would like us to discuss while we have a few minutes left of today's webinar. And one other thing to add now that we have this slide up is if you'd like to schedule that one-on-one demo with us, you can use this QR code. Just take a picture of it with your phone. It takes you to a link to sign up. If you don't want to use a QR code, you could just head to our website, giveeffect.com, and see more information there. Additionally, I know Tides has resources within their own platform. So Megan, do you want to share a little bit about where they can go or how they can access information from your internal platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the Salesforce Partner Portal, we have a technology resources page that houses all of our information about online platforms and other tech resources that are available. And within that page, we have another page specifically dedicated to each platform, including one for GiveEffect. So there's the link there to sign up to do an individual demo. There's information about pricing and all the features that are available. And we'll also be sure to upload a recording of this training to that page afterwards as well. So that's kind of your one-stop shop within the partner portal for where you can find more information and figure out how to connect with the GiveEffect team.
Great. Thank you so much, Megan. And it looks like we have a couple questions, so I'll just go ahead and read these out loud. So one person asked, thank you for all this information. To get a better sense of what using GiveEffect might look like for our team, can you give me some examples of platforms teams transitioned away from after starting GiveEffect? For example, MailChimp, Dropbox, WordPress, project management tools like Asana. So yes, so all the ones that you have mentioned are tools and platforms people have navigated away from to us. Additionally, Alexia, would you go back to that slide where it
Sure.
shows the tools we replace. I think that's a good slide for us to revisit. Other nonprofit tools that people have come from to join Give Effect instead, or things like Salesforce, Give Better, Give Better, Razor's Edge, Bloomerang, Blockbot, some of those, like also within the nonprofit space when they're looking for a true all-in-one platform. Let's see, and just like you see here, while this is not a comprehensive list, you can see that there's donation tools, communication tools, website tools, data management tools, and volunteer management. We've also actually had many organizations come to us that they don't even have any technology set up, right? So with many that are still using even just spreadsheets, actual paper, even post-it notes. And one organization even kept their volunteer application forms and waivers in an accordion folder. And they had to lug that folder with them from event to event, which you can imagine how fun that is, right? And when you're trying to look for a paper while on site and maybe you have a line of people waiting to check in, that's not ideal, right? Instead of pulling out your mobile device, a tablet, and being able to look up an individual volunteer right away to have them check in or check things like dietary needs or t-shirt size. So again, going digital is so much better. I hope that answers your question, but again, sign up for a demo and we'd be happy to talk more in depth about what else Give Effect replaces and how we can potentially meet your needs. Let's see, one other question here. Can you touch a little more on Give Effect's grant management capabilities, such as tracking of donor requirements, grant reporting, and more? Yes, so I'll just talk high level, but again, when you schedule your demo, you can actually have a look at the platform itself and go through each of the stages. But essentially, it is a project management tool designed specifically for the grant management process. And so there is the space to add in which grants you're applying for, the requirements, the deadlines, the timelines, responses, the monetary amounts, and how that would potentially be allocated all within the system. And so what's great about it is not only the person working on that grant has access to it, but others in the organization too. So it's really great for teamwork, right? And removing any silos. So I hope that answers your question from a high level, but again, please schedule a demo and you can get like a full view of what the platform has to offer. And then it looks like our last question is, will these slides be sent out after the call? I don't think we're going to send out the actual slides, but if you really want it, let us know and we can get that to you. But we will share the recording as well as additional resources in the next day to 2 days for your access. And again, please let us know if you have any further questions. We're happy to answer. We have a great team of nonprofit solutions consultants, and our CS team is amazing. So let's see. Let's leave another minute if there's any other questions. Let's see. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any more trickling in. So last call.
I think that may be it.
Okay, so I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. Big thank you to Megan, the team at Tides, for working on this partnership with us. It really is our mission to serve nonprofits and help make your lives easier, reduce those manual tasks, and bring your team together to be able to collaborate and raise more and create more impact for your mission. So that's really important to us. And Alexia, thank you for presenting with me today. And with that, thank you all so much for coming, and stay tuned for the follow-up with the access to the recording.
Yeah. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of
folks.
your day. Bye.